Hi guys! Today I'm testing a cordless soldering iron. Sometimes you need to make a solder joint outside and there's no power outlet nearby. Until a few years ago, gas soldering irons were used for this. Nowadays, batteries are so powerful that you can even build soldering irons with them. But how powerful can something like that actually be? Let's try it out. These are the components of the box. Let's take a look at the instructions. The soldering tip must be screwed onto the soldering iron. The soldering tip connector looks like the base of an old miniature light bulb. The battery must be charged for 2 to 3 hours before first use. I connected a USB tester to it. Oh look, it's charging at 2 amperes. Okay, thanks to the high charging current, the charging process is complete after only 23 minutes. 775 milliamp hours has been charged. For testing, I have 2 stranded wires here. One with a thin conductor cross-section and one with a larger cross-section. I will try it with lead-free solder. The melting point is 217 degrees Celsius. It takes a very long time for the end of the strand to reach 270 degrees Celsius. Because the tip isn't wetted by the solder, the heat transfer from the tip to the strand isn't optimal. Here's a schematic cross-section of a surface at nanoscale. The surface resembles a mountainous landscape, although the surface looks smooth to the naked eye. When two surfaces approach each other, they only touch in a few small places. Here, for example, there are only 4 places. 99% of the surface isn't touching. This causes the poor heat flow. If there's solder instead of air in the space between the two surfaces, the heat flow is greatly improved. Let's move on to the thinner strand. It works a little better here. There's also less mass to heat up. Okay, let's try again. This time with lead-based solder. The melting point is 183 degrees Celsius. That's 34 degrees Celsius less than before. It's noticeably faster. The soldering process also works much better. With the thicker wire, it naturally takes a little longer to reach 183 degrees Celsius. The soldering tip behaves completely differently than my conventional soldering tips, because the tip itself doesn't accept solder. But how does the soldering iron even manage to reach the soldering temperature with only 8 watts? My conventional soldering iron, for example, has 25 watts, which is more than 3 times the power. Here you can see the two types compared. On the left you can see the bright red heating element. The heat transfer to the soldering tip isn't very effective. The heat also has to travel a much longer distance to reach the tip. A lot of energy is lost in the process. On the right you can see that the heater is built directly into the soldering tip. The heat transfer is very direct, and the path for the heat flow is also much shorter. This is how the higher efficiency is achieved.
Okay, and now for the ultimate challenge.
Soldering a flat contact on a circuit board. I've got this circuit board for the experiment. And here's where the thicker wire is supposed to be soldered. I'm using the solder with the lower melting temperature. The solder on the wire is partially melted, But then it doesn't go any further. More heat is simply dissipated than the soldering iron can deliver. It can help to apply a little more pressure to the soldering tip. This improves the heat transfer between the soldering tip and the solder joint. Oh no! The soldering tip is coming out of the socket. This can't be true. It's really poorly made. Can I recommend this product? No. Will I mention the source? No. My lesson from this is, beware of cheap cordless soldering irons. This was another informative video for you, so don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. A small donation helps me too. Have a great time. See you in the next video. Bye bye.